for whatever reason, it seems that people who have a predisposition to anxiety, depression, bipolar, OCD, all of these like neurotic type of mental illnesses seem to be sensitive to sugar. And I'm willing to bet 90, if not more, percent of this mental illness that these people suffer from is curable with the proper diet. Okay, so for instance, I've looked a lot into sugar, and sugar damages the mood and memory part of the brain, especially in excessive amounts. All right, it essentially causes brain damage. Okay, it deteriorates parts of your brain for whatever reason. So if you look at like the standard American diet that is carb heavy, it's mostly carbs with little to no meat, like meat is the minority. Then you have vegetables, which are high in carbs, and you know, fucking potatoes and starches, which are high in carbs, and fucking pastas and everything. You have this little tiny piece of meat. That's not the way we should be living at all, because that's just loading you up with sugar, because carbs turn into sugar in your system, all right, which becomes your primary fuel source if you are, you know, a carb and sugar consumer. Now, if you eat just a carnivore diet, you will switch to something called ketosis, where your body relies solely on fat to burn energy or to create energy and fuel your muscles and your brain and things like that. And it's like giving your car like a new fuel source that just makes it extremely fast and smooth and just work a lot better versus fucking pouring vegetable oil inside the gas tank. It's just like a night and day difference. And I know this because I've tested on myself and I've suffered plenty of neurological conditions. And it seems like my body's very, very sensitive. So on a biological level, we're all different. We all have extremely different variations of genes and things that make us who we are. There's so many different receptor differences and neurotransmitter differences and fucking lung capacity and heart and this and that, hormonal fluctuations. Like no two people are nearly like unique at all. Like they're not nearly the same. Like they're not even close to the same. We're very, very biologically different. And I do believe that our genes kind of determine which diet suits us best. But largely, the carnivore diet would be a preferable diet for everyone, given the fact that meat is pretty much unchanged compared to like fruits and vegetables, which are genetically modified, and carbs, which, you know, the wheat is grown in shitty soils. It's very low in nutrients. It doesn't have any like dense amino acids and things like that. Like it's pretty shit. The only thing that's really restorative and healing and largely healthy seems to be meat, within specific conditions, that is. So with that being said, for some reason my body responds better to using fat as a fuel source. When I use sugar as a fuel source, I suffer from chronic fatigue syndrome. I get OCD, I get nervous tics, like impulsive intrusive thoughts that don't stop. I get mood fluctuations that change on a minute-to-minute basis. I feel largely and generally depressed, and then once in a while I'll feel less depressed. But it's just constant anxiety, constant worry. Like everything neurological just shifts when I eat the standard American diet and standard foods that the average person eats. But this way of eating has kind of, I guess, changed the way my genes express themselves. And this is what my body deems as optimal fuel. And this should be recognized in the mental health field. And I wish it was. Because this, hell, even in combination with medications, could be far more effective in treating mental health problems than just Band-Aid solution medications, copy and paste, same protocol for everybody, and don't look into it any further. Even things like gut bacteria and gut health seriously influence your immune system, your energy levels, how your brain works. Like your brain and your gut are in direct contact with each other, okay? And they directly influence like the function of each other. If your gut's, you know, like not doing well and your gut bacteria all fucked up and like your gut bacteria changes depending on what foods you consume regularly. So if you consume just meat regularly, it literally alters your microbiome of your gut. So all the bacteria change and are different compared to somebody with like a traditional diet. And they say things like even autism are largely influenced by gut bacteria, like harmful, crappy gut bacterias. And certain like autisms are being treated with like fecal transplants where they alter somebody's gut bacteria and they transplant gut bacteria that isn't theirs and is from some outside source and put it into their gut in hopes that it shifts the gut bacteria and new ones start replicating and the old ones kind of die out and go away, and that may potentially treat their autism. So like all of these different fields are not being looked into, which is very concerning, but it makes sense because the medical industry is about making money and using you as a cash cow. So somebody who gets better isn't a paying customer. But yeah, it's just like diets is so fucking big in how you operate as a human being and whether or not you live up to your full potential. Whether or not you can access like 100% of your brain, honestly, just like in Limitless. Whether like how your body is sculpted, how your body changes based on what you consume and put in it, just as your mind does. Like literally, I haven't really changed anything that I've been doing except mostly my diet, and I am working out more, but like my body's just completely changed in proportions and like fat distribution and things like that. My skin's smoother, like I smell better. Like these are just things that my girlfriend's told me. And like, yeah, I mean, I put on muscle a lot faster because I'm consuming 300 grams of protein per day or something like that. Like it's insane. And my brain works better. And I don't get these dips in energy throughout the day. It's very consistent. So depending on how much you are suffering, you may deem it worthwhile to pursue this diet. I was suffering far beyond what was ever tolerable for a very, very, very long time. So that is why I did something drastic. And I recommend it to any of you who are suffering just as much physically and can't figure out what's wrong. So that's it, guys. Consider that. Talk to you later. Peace.